It's been 100 years since H.P. Lovecraft and the character that put his name on the map in Call of Cthulhu debuted. Since that 100 years, we've had a plethora of Cthulhu movies, books, RPGs, and of course, video games, with the last few years being filled to the brim with them, and 2025 looking to be even more packed. One of those games that really kicked off the entire thing, as well as pioneering what would be known today as the survival horror genre, was Alone in the Dark. Released in 1992, you followed Edward Carnby, Private Eye, as he investigates the mysterious death of a Jeremy Hart, or you can play as his niece.
On my door, a dull brass plate says Private Detective. The few friends I have call me Carnby. The others call me the Reptile. I don't care to think what my banker calls me.
The attorney's letter came as a deep shock to me. My Uncle Jeremy had died by his own hand. The coroner's report was unequivocal. He hanged himself in the loft.
In 2024, after a billion attempts to get Alone in the Dark back into the light, we head back to the mansion that started it all, but did we get a solid look of the horrors lurking in the shadows, or did we only catch a glimpse out of the corner of our eye?
You want to tell me what this is all about?
To get this out of the way, this remake, reboot, reimagining was definitely made with love for the original. The director's commentary even has the original creator on board doing the commentary.
Hello everyone, I'm Frederic Reynal, the creator of the first Alone in the Dark in 1992, and I'm so delighted to see again Derceto, and especially in this new state.
There are more than enough callbacks to the original game that classic fans can enjoy, and while I own the original trilogy, I still haven't finished it, but I can appreciate the nods to it. As a giant Lovecraft nerd, this ticked all the right boxes for me. It's just spooky enough, though veterans of the horror genre won't find this as frightening. The Dark Descent this is not, but it does have its writer. Lead writer for Dark Descent and Soma also worked on this, so the narrative, as convoluted as it can be at points, is written very well. The basics of the plot are you either play as typical 20s drunkard detective Edward Carnby, played by David Harbour of Stranger Things fame.
Investigator. I hope you don't mind we let ourselves inside.
I do mind. This is private property.
Or Jeremy Hartwood's niece, Emily Hartwood, played by Jodie Comer.
It's urgent, and no one was answering the door.
We can't hear you knocking anymore. None of us can.
Who is your uncle, darling?
Jeremy. Am I right? She has that Hartwood gloom, doesn't she?
That's right. I'm Emily Hartwood. I just came to make sure my uncle is all right.
As both of them try and search for Jeremy, who has mysteriously vanished while being lodged at Derceto, a rest and recuperation center for creatives, or just a fancy term for an insane asylum.
I know you from somewhere.
Who's your man again, Miss Hartwood?
My name's Edward Carnby, private investigator.
Splendid.
Enough! All of you, get back to your rooms!
While searching Jeremy's room, you stumble upon a self-portrait that has an eerie presence about it, and the next thing you know, you are whisked away into another dimension. The rest of the game plays out exactly like this, with you exploring and switching back and forth between other spooky areas. I'll get into spoilers for the narrative later. You'll get your spoiler warning, and there will be a timestamp down below, but overall the narrative is good. I believed these characters and their journey, but we will talk about the story more later, so let's get into what makes video games with the gameplay. For starters, this is no Resident Evil 2 remake, Dark Descent, or any of those games, but it is similar. It's more like Resident Evil 2 Remake Light Edition, Diet Edition. The puzzles are the same with no randomization. The pacing, while good on a blind playthrough at roughly 10 to 11 hours for me, is just fine, but once you know what to do, that drastically gets cut down, such is the nature of these kind of games. Narratively, it unfolds the same, with each big beat being identical, but each character does react differently to the situations, which is a nice touch instead of using the exact same dialogue. And of course, there are a few twists and turns that are different depending on who you play as, with entirely different sounds sections being unique to whatever character you choose. You look for items to unlock new areas, collect langanese that give more lore explanation and unlock secret endings, explore the gorgeously rendered mansion of Derceto, and solve puzzles while occasionally getting into combat. The mansion's layout, even after my 10 plus hours of the first campaign, which is what this review primarily focuses on, was a bit confusing, but I never got bored or lost interest in finding the next door to unlock or shortcut to make the game even faster when heading to other areas. Each puzzle here on the first go is great. It's a bit of a brain teaser for sure, but like I just said, there is no variation to them whatsoever. So once you solve them, you know how to solve them. You can do what I do, which is screenshot the answer to make it even faster. Each character here plays a bit differently though. Emily feels noticeably lighter than Edward. With Edward being a heavy dude, they really added the weight with the animations and the speed. Emily feels like Sonic, while Edward feels like a rock. Edward carries a revolver. Emily carries a regular pistol, and you'll need a few more firearms to take on the creepy plant monsters straight out of Resident Evil 7. You'll get the classic double barrel, which does its job well enough. Your revolver or pistol.
Last but not least, my favorite. A Tommy gun!
Each gun sounds simply amazing and actually hurt my ears when I had my headphones on, and that leads us into the sound design and visuals.
Detective Carnby, how good of you to come. Let me pour you a drink.
What happened here? This place looks like it was hit by a bomb.
Welcome to the madhouse, Detective.
Thanks.
Sonically, this hits all the right notes, literally. The music composed by
Arnie Bergor-Zoiga and Jason Conan
is fantastic. My exposure to dark jazz, which is what it's called here, is primarily from Twin Peaks, but I'm so glad it's in this game. I'll try and play some here, but just in case I'm copyright struck and the cutscenes also don't get copyright struck, try to listen to it within the cutscene, and of course the music here. If it is copyright struck, there will be no sound.
Somewhere in his past, I suppose, he keeps going on about that mysterious dark man. I think he is hiding from him. Or maybe he's with him. I can't really keep up.
Visually, it's another stunner. The mansion here feels hot and sweaty, just like you are in the summer of New Orleans. I love the details of when you take damage, you get bloody or set on fire, you get covered in ash. The different dimensions and the slow degradation of the mansion as you progress the story is always a great detail. You have different filters here to pick from if you get the deluxe edition. I found myself fond of the classic noir filter, but you also have one that looks like you were in a black and white picture, a widescreen lens so you can be in a movie instead of a game, and you can even play as the original 1992 models with a pixelated filter to go along with it.
Oh, your uncle. What's wrong with him?
He's possessed.
As in the devil?
Something like that. He says a dark man is following him, watching him at all times.
Each area you explore is distinct. The realm shifting was always a nice surprise, and each area is just varied enough. From the obligatory sewer section, a steamboat, part of New Orleans French Quarter, a shipping yard, and of course, the ever-evolving mansion. It's also a really nice touch that, and I recommend it, you play the free Alone in the Dark prologue, which carries over to the main campaign, because of course it does, and it shows you how this bear got knocked down. Everything is handcrafted with loving detail. Every single note you pick up is wonderfully voice acted, including special cameos from the founders of the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society themselves.
The Great Depression, President Hoover raises tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods in an act to protect American labor.
Alright, let's talk about the story. This is your spoiler warning. Go here to skip it. There is a link down below as well to skip this section. We are primarily going to focus on Edward here, but I'll showcase some of Emily as well. Edward Carnby, private eye, hired by Emily Hartwood to help look for her uncle who sent out a warning specifically so she would stay away because dark forces are abound. Jeremy claims he is being haunted by this dark man.
Oh goodness, you scared me.
What are you up to, Jeremy?
I have to tell someone what is going on here. I have to try. You're not one of them, are you? Please tell me, Grace. You're not a spy, are you?
Who's spy?
Them. The others. All of them. No, you're too innocent.
I'm too innocent.
I need to get this letter to my niece. She would understand.
Just give it to the clerk, Mr. Waits, and he'll post it.
No, he could be in on it. What if he won't post my letter?
Then don't make it look like it's one of yours. Here, let me do it.
So, your uncle. What's wrong with him?
He's possessed.
As in the devil?
Something like that. He says a dark man is following him, watching him at all times.
What do you make of it?
It's nonsense, of course, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me. You see, it runs in my family.
Possession?
No, Detective. Deteriorating melancholy. Practically every member of the Hartwood family is driven mad before they grow old.
Jeremy is also a painter and sculptor whose paintings and sculptures have an otherworldly feeling about them, almost as if they are real. And it turns out everything he's sculpted is real. He's also been driven mad, or has he, and can hop dimensions.
Well, should keep it safe for you. Do you want to carry it, or should I?
Miss Hartwood, I think you're gonna want to see this.
Is there something in the closet?
Yeah, there is. You don't see the very obvious gate leading to whatever Jeremy's madness is serving up next?
I don't understand. Are you making some kind of fashion metaphor?
Also snooping around the house, Edward gathers that something else is going on with this house and its inhabitants.
Only the sacrifices of the Old Testament compare to your demands. Let it be the truth. A mother of earth, wood, and dirt. A mother of 1,000 young.
You run into that Detective Bella?
Who is he? Can he be trusted?
I think he one of the good guys. Well, you know, like us.
Will he be all right with her coming? Praise the mother.
You don't need to know about all that. Just calm down. It ain't time yet.
God, it hurts.
As far as I can tell, Detective Carnby seems to be solving problems, not causing them.
Just be ready in case he starts anything.
What do you hear, Jeremy? Whispering, much higher. It's the young. They're praising her. The mother. Tell us what they are saying. What are they saying, Jeremy? Ever the praises, abundance, to the black goat of the woods. Hear us, mother, and take pity on us. This is the messed up stuff. What else, Jeremy? Accept our sacrifice and judge our work. Yeehaw! 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 Shove the ground! Yeehaw! Shove the ground!
Dark Man is Nyarlathotep, basically cosmic horror Jesus. To really simplify it, he often takes the shape of a pharaoh or dark wanderer, hence the Dark Man, and is there as a sign of the coming doom and destruction that is about to take place. Edward discovers there is a pact that was made with Nyarlathotep, and he has to break the contract.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
Welcome, Detective, to the greatest show this side of the Mississippi. Nyarlathotep, the Black Pharaoh, the ancient magician who lived 1,000 lives and wore 1,000 masks.
I can see why you settled on calling him the Dark Man. Saves your breath. So, you got scared by a stage magician, and now he's living inside your head.
You can mock me, Detective. But you would be the crazy one to think his presence can be ignored.
We didn't get to finish our last conversation, did we? You were about to tell me how to break the contract with the Dark Man.
No, we can't. If we turn her loose on the world, so many innocent would die.
But there is a way to break out of the deal.
There is. You offered me a way out. Steps to take.
What are they?
You'll never find them.
Acknowledge psychological trauma, break through barriers of self-deceit, temperamental behavior. These are the Dark Man's terms. I think I know how to break the contract with the Dark Man.
What exactly does that mean?
Everything going back to normal.
All right. I found some more information on Derceto and the patients. There are some seriously strange things going on here. I'm pretty sure 2 of the patients are dead, and maybe even the clerk.
Oh yeah, I kind of just gave up on worrying about that.
Well, just keep your eyes open, I suppose. What were you doing again?
Jeremy made a pact with the Dark Man to keep all the madness locked inside Derceto.
All right.
I'm gonna break it. I just have to...
This contract was a sealing away of Derceto, basically, and allowing the evil to be contained there. Nyarlathotep infects Jeremy's mind, and as long as Jeremy stays crazy, the evil of Derceto will never be free.
Detective! One.
I hope you found what you were looking for.
Throughout the game, we run into this little girl, Grace, who we played in the prologue, who seems to know more than she says. Turns out Detective Edward Carnby here was also a patient at Derceto, after feeling guilty.
This is my room. I belong here. I know the combination. I carry it with me. I know that number. Where's that from? I did this.
Years before the Derceto case with Jeremy, Edward was hired by the wife of an art dealer to get her daughter back because the father kidnapped her. Edward chases them down and accidentally runs them off of a bridge. He saves the daughter, lets the father die when he could have saved him as well, and leaves young Grace with her actual abusive mother that the father was trying to rescue her from the abuse. Now, this part could be me reaching really far here, but I actually think Grace died in that car accident, and he couldn't save either of them. We know that the Derceto Manor is basically an otherworldly homing beacon of some sort, so it makes perfect sense that characters who are dead are still present somehow, only some more than others. Edward being guilt-ridden and falling into a drunk stupor because he let a little girl die is perfect reason for him to check into an asylum, but that's just my interpretation. So after hunting Jeremy some more, getting the contract, which shows that Jeremy let Nyarlathotep into his mind so he could save Derceto, the house members are actually a part of a cult for Shub-Niggurath, aka the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 young, who, if set free, would destroy Derceto and the world, and this is why the house members are looking for Jeremy also, and why the doctor wants to perform a lobotomy.
Surgery based on the ideas by Burkhardt and the St. Petersburg research could end up saving Jeremy's mind. Severing the connections around the frontal lobe would certainly solve most mental afflictions. The procedure would be brutal in performance, as well as in efficiency. An ice pick pushed through the edge of the eye and into the skull would untether the nerves like Alexander cutting the Gordian knot. As this would likely leave Jeremy in a very different condition, all other paths should first be explored. The medical instrument I would need for this lobotomy is missing, and I should have Waits order a new one.
The other piece of the puzzle is that, much like Alan Wake, this is a story written by one of the patients who is a movie writer, hence the actor's name showing up at the beginning of the game when you have to do character selection as a little bit of a fourth wall break. And it's narrated by her as our story recaps.
Writing could be read much more literally. What if Jeremy used his talisman to actually visit those places he mentioned in the book? Carnby felt certain that this was the answer. He wouldn't find Jeremy hiding inside Derceto. He would be in one of those other worlds. And to follow in his steps, Carnby would have to investigate the old clock and the boiler and find out what part they played.
We also see Grace tearing up script for what is actually one of the drafts for this Alone in the Dark movie and putting them on masks. Each mask is one of the NPCs who are part of the goat cult, hoping to change their stories, but Jeremy is holding all of that back because of his pact with Nyarlathotep. So eventually you stop Nyarlathotep and save quote-unquote Jeremy by giving him a knife lobotomy.
You want from me? You want me to lose my mind?
Oh, my Lord! Doctor! Baptiste! Quick!
You too. Hey, Jeremy, I didn't do too much damage, did I?
Things are fine. Very quiet.
What's up with him? Painkillers?
No. You see, despite you having the finesse of a one-eyed butcher, you managed to lobotomize dear Jeremy.
I did what?
It's actually quite impressive. It's not like I hadn't considered it myself. I just wish Jeremy could have been helped without reducing his personality to that of an oyster.
The guests are evil. They start to sacrifice Grace. Shub-Niggurath rises from the giant tree you see in the start of the game. It kills everybody, save for the true main characters, and the mansion burns down. It's a happy-ish ending for everyone. Poor Jeremy with his lobotomy. Now that is a very quick summation of the story. Trust me, it's way more complex and deep than that, and I'm sure I got some stuff wrong, or maybe the entire thing wrong, with just how convoluted it can be, but it is intriguing, and I've already seen a lot of theories that while this is a remake or reimagining of the original Alone in the Dark, it's also a weird sequel, because we have our Alan Wake style author who wrote the original game and decided to change it up here. It's a crazy rabbit hole of a story. Now, there are alternate endings and secrets, but I won't spoil that for anybody just in case you want to experience that yourself, or you can always look them up on YouTube.
Everything is out of order. This isn't the way the story goes. I shouldn't be alive.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, buddy.
How are you doing, sweetie?
I kinda like it. You ruined everything, but I'm not mad.
So overall, I love this game. I'm definitely going to go down the Alone in the Dark tunnel now this year. Sadly, the studio who made this shut down 3 months or something later, so the setup for Alone in the Dark 2 and 3 are most likely never going to happen. But I really hope they do. This game goes on sale for $20 or $25 for the deluxe edition now, guys. There is no reason you shouldn't pick this up. It's not on the same level as the Resident Evil 2 remakes, of course. It's just enough, I think, and if you love Lovecraft like I do, good chance you've already played this. But if you haven't, you owe it to yourself for a solid mystery story with horror elements and some okay puzzles. With all that said, I've been Calypso. If you like this video, like this video. If you dislike this video, dislike this video. I just personally love this game from start to finish. I really, really do. I can't explain it. It just hit me at the right time, I guess. Have you played this? Do you want to play this? Again, it's on sale for $20. I think it's worth it for that price. I think it's worth it for even like $40. If you played this, let me know down below. What do you think they could improve upon? If there is a sequel, hopefully one day, what would you guys like to see in the sequel, and which characters would you like to see come back, and everything else like that? I could ramble on forever, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.